My name is Jim Lee. I'm so glad that you're joining us today, and welcome to Unity of Las Vegas. For the past several weeks, we have been exploring what it is to be a 21st century pioneer. A little recap, a little summary of the steps. We, first of all, took a look at, hey, to be a spiritual pioneer, we need to be able to hear the voice of the divine, and then not only that, but align with it. And the other quality is we need to be able to live inside of divine order in the midst of chaos and confusion. Have you noticed? The other thing is experience a direct knowing. What I'm talking about, a 21st century pioneer is anchored and steeped in faith. And then the other thing is we live in the expectancy, open-minded heartedness to magic and miracles. And then the other thing is, with all of this, we become an ambassadors of the evolving nature of love, of the truth, of the divine. Now, when we put all these steps together, it reminds me of something. Lisa and I participated in a fundraiser called Dancing with the Stars. And what we had to do, we had to learn these steps. And so we learned these steps, how to move. It was long, quick, long, quick. That was really good, but it really came into play when we heard the music, we embodied it, then everything became alive. So even though we have these steps, today what we're going to talk about is putting it all together so that we can dance, so that we can have a ball, y'all. It's time to live the life that we all designed to live. And Lisa had this quote that I like and I'm going to use here. She says, as spiritual pioneers, we hear the music of the cosmos. Allured by the edges of creation, we sing and dance the living universe into being. Well, that's what we're about. The order of service for today is Dolores will be delivering a special reading for us. John will have music. It's entitled, I Am Light. I'm doing the lesson, the 21st century spiritual pioneer, and Lisa will bring it on home with a fabulous meditation. Open up your minds. It's time to have a fabulous time.
Hello, I'm Dolores Stevenson, and I'm here to bring you the word for today. The word is awakening. Our affirmation says that I am the universe, awakening to itself, beholding love ever dawning. The following is an inspired poem by Nikki Sutton and Craig Critton. It is entitled Awakening. You've changed beyond measure and traveled a complex path. The truth is the truth, and your heart loves to seek it. You're a healer of many, a pioneer of consciousness, a protector of wisdom. You are a light that cannot darken. You are a soul that shines through. You are eternal. Amid the moment, you are awakening with love. You are love. Viewing my surrounding, I ask myself, am I fully aware of the wonders that are around me? I may have fallen asleep to the truth. All things are possible. in the light of God. When I allow the dreamer within me to awaken, everything changes. Life becomes a vibrant, joyous journey where even small things take on greater meaning. When I look at another person, I see the unique expression of the divine that they have come here to be. I feel the connection between every being that calls his planet, this planet, home. I realize everything in the world of the senses is a divine idea in expression. Seeing divine light radiating around me and through me, and as me, I see a universe awakening to itself, and I behold the emergence of love in all things. I am the universe awakening to itself, beholding love ever dawning.
Thank you, Dolores. That was beautifully stated, and I loved your poem, Awakening. That was great. Well, good morning, friends. It's great to see you guys here. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. Wonderful to have you. Please share us with your families and friends, won't you? Hit those subscribe and notification buttons below. And you can also share our posi-music playlist with your families and friends as well. For today's song, I've chosen a song by India Ari. This is one of my favorites, entitled, I Am Light. As are you. Enjoy. I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I am not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age not my race, my soul inside is all light, all light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light. I am light. Light. All light. I am light. I am light. All light. Light.
Thank you, Don. We definitely are light. Well, if you take a look at it, goodness, we're having crisis after crisis after crisis. And then on top of that, we got even more crisis. And it seems like it's almost impossible to get out of all of these crises. And really what it seems like, if you tell the truth about it, we're having hell on earth right now instead of heaven on earth. And we need to do something about this. But what I'm saying as a metaphysician, we need to be something before we need to do something. And what I'm inviting us to be is a spiritual pioneer moving forward. Right off the bat, I want to start off with this affirmation that I think will get us in the mood, and it is, if it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And it's up to you and I to be a spiritual pioneer. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, in this life that we have, we need to break out of this and so that we can create something new. So the first thing I want to talk about is we've got to come out of this box. We're living inside of this box. It's a box of our own reality. It's a box of our thinking. It's a box of our conditioning. It's a box of all of the things that we have incorporated that allowing us to perceive life a certain kind of way, and it has us boxed in. Now, the walls of this box, we're going to label them technically as a paradigm or way of thinking. And what we want to do is I'm going to label this box and a way of thinking is all of our belief system. And from here on out in the talk, I'm going to abbreviate this belief system into BS. So we're locked into this BS. And we're looking now to get out of this BS so that we can move into a new way of being. But this box of belief system and paradigm is steeped in this one fundamental principle that contaminates everything, and that is we believe in separation. That's right, separation. Jeff Carrera, in his book, The Soul of the New Self, says this: we have been trained to see ourselves as separate entities, housed in separate bodies, living a single lifetime in a world that is independent from us. That's a big box. And if you really look at it, we all kind of fit inside of that. And in this paradigm of perception, we're now going to attempt to come out of this box. And the first thing that we do is to take and say, well, maybe this isn't the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And in order to do that, we need to have a non-attachment, not to life, but a non-attachment to the interpretations and the perceptions about life. We need to have a non-attachment to this box that we're living in of duality and separation. And once we move outside of this box of duality and separation, there is this field of wholeness. And in that field of wholeness, we can tap into it, what looks like, feels like something that is impossible. With wholeness, it becomes possible. And that's what a spiritual pioneer brings to the table. In other words, the spiritual pioneers bring on a new story. And the story is this: not only is there only one presence, there's only one power, but it's good and it's love. Now, I'm caught up sometimes in this struggle of life, and sometimes it just seems like it's hard. What we're looking at in this new story, this new paradigm outside of this box, the first thing that I want to do is bring on this concept. Let's not make it hard work. As a spiritual pioneer, let's do it with ease and grace. And so another affirmation that I'm bringing along here is this: I live and move with ease and grace. Let's breathe that in. And I'm feeling that right now. I live and move with ease and with grace. It's time to get in that rhythm of ease and grace. What do I mean by ease? Ease is about being in alignment with the flow of love. Let's make it easy. Ease is about not effort and struggle. This is about allowing, or there's a word that I like, is being orchestrated by the divine instead of orchestrating. Then it becomes ease. Now, it doesn't mean that there will not be any rocks or stumbling blocks as we flow with this, and the ease and grace actually occurs when we are experiencing whatever we're experiencing, because with ease and grace we go around it. Now, the other thing is, the beautiful thing is grace. Grace. And in the scripture in 2 Corinthians, in the 9th chapter and 8th verse, it says, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you, always having all sufficiency in all things, may have an abundance for every good work. So no matter what you have been, what you have been doing, what kind of box you are in, you can overcome it with God's grace. What do I mean by everybody has it? Grace is not a reward for the righteous. It is a gift for the guilty. That's the reason why it's called Amazing Grace. And so as a spiritual pioneer, I'm inviting us to turn toward ease and this wonderful thing called grace. Because a spiritual pioneer is saved by grace. Now, this is the truth, the whole truth, and it's going to set us free. And I know. We've got a whole bunch of things now. What is the truth? We get caught up into this, all kind of conspiracy theories, and nobody believes, some people have a hard time in believing facts, data, and even science. We're going to move that aside. What is the truth? Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, had an article entitled Elevate Humanity from the first issue of Modern Thought magazine in 1889. And in it, he said, "We shall express our view upon all questions according to the light we have today. If tomorrow's light is stronger, we will shift our views to suit it, for we follow truth wherever she leads, and we accord our contributors the same privilege." Charles Fillmore said over and over again, "I reserve the right to change my mind," meaning that he is going to go with the truth. And so, as we are falling in love with this evolutionary impulse of the truth that is all around us, in us, and in the universe, it's not static. It's not permanent dogma. The truth that I'm talking about takes us to greater and greater good. It's a greater and greater love story. It's a greater and greater evolution of consciousness. And so to know this truth, we got to step in love. Love, what I'm talking about, love in our minds and our hearts and our souls. This love reveals the truth, moment by moment. And when we really take a look at it, when we look through the eyes of love, it changes our perception, and we see the divine is everywhere. Then we can take authentic action as a spiritual pioneer once we align with this truth. And one of the other qualities it takes to be a spiritual pioneer, and there's the foundation of it, and that is faith. And in Hebrews 11:1, it has a wonderful statement. It says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen." This scripture is a definition of faith. Also, it's a description of faith. Now, the faith is described as this: faith is substance, means it is spiritual essence, but also essence that is real. And then once we tap into this faith then does something good. Faith actually sees the invisible, hears the inaudible, makes the intangible a tangible reality, and I love this, faith is the evidence of things not seen. So we are conditioned to think that evidence comes by seeing, and seeing is believing. Well, in metaphysics, reverse it. Evidence comes by believing, and once we believe it, then it opens up and we're able to see it. Faith is potent power that we all have in us, and it is always flowing. It's like a big fire hose. It's already on. So where are we going to point it? As a spiritual pioneer, We're pointing it in the direction of and flow with love. This is what we are doing. And when we're on this journey called life, Lord knows we need faith. Faith. Because sometimes stuff can happen that can be unpredictable, out of your control, and will cause you to change. So a spiritual pioneer has got to deal with change, unpredictability, and lack of control, and faith helps. Well, I want to talk to you about Lisa and I learned the Argentine tango and the mambo. Now, Lisa can dance. She's been dancing all of her life. She was in ballet and whatnot. Me, the best I could do was the twist. And so this ballroom dancing of the tango and the mambo and all that was a bit much. So we were in this event. It was called Dancing with the Stars. It was a fundraiser. And I loved it because they allowed us to have an Arthur Murray's coach. So we went to the studio once a week and we would learn the steps. But then we wanted to get better at it. There was a member of our church who was a dance teacher. Bobby, he was fabulous. He taught us as well. So we had two coaches working with us, and we were working a couple of times a week. Oh gosh, for a few months, and we were getting it down. And I went out and I bought a shirt. In fact, this is the shirt that I bought for us to have this big event, this gala event, Dancing with the Stars, had all these couples out, and we were one of the couples, and I was so proud to be in there, especially because I had learned the steps. Oh, that was a big deal. And so we got a musician to play for us so we could do the dance, and so we were out on the dance floor, got in position. Oh, I was perfect position. I knew how to hold my arms up and everything. I was doing it right. And the musician started playing, but it was the wrong tempo, the wrong beat. It was like, I don't know, it was like trying to do the waltz over, hey, baby got good news, whatever, kind of rock beat. It wasn't working at all. And I looked at Lisa and I said, "Oh, sugar." Well, it was close to that. And Lisa said, "You know what? We got to do this." So we stepped forward and we leaned into it, and the movements came. It was kind of sort of what we rehearsed. Thank God Lisa was able to follow me. And at the end, we pulled it off. People started clapping, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I said, "Okay, I don't know how we pulled that off, but we were able to do it." What we did, we stepped into that moment. It was certainly unpredictable. We hadn't planned on it. I had no control, and I had to change on the fly. But we did it. So, affirmation time, because this is what I had to do. I had to say, I relaxed into the divine flow of divine order. So what a spiritual pioneer knows, that in the midst of chaos, there's order. It's been order from the very beginning. Since the very beginning when the universe was created, it was nothing but order, even though it looked like chaos. And so what we're doing now is, in the midst of whatever's going on, there is an order to it. And what I had to say over and over again, I'm inviting you to say, no matter what you're going through, if you happen to be going through something that is an unexpected event, something that's chaotic and confusing, and you're not in control, simply say, God's got this. Whew. God's got this. God's got this. So out of this, I want us to come up with three don'ts. The first don't is this. Don't fear. Instead, have faith in love's abilities in you. I didn't know I had it in me, but love knew it, and Lord knows I went with the groove. Don't ask me to do it again. Next thing, next don't. Don't accept self-pity. Instead, love yourself into unconditional wholeness. That is a resonating force that can lift us up out of anything. And then the other thing is, don't allow unpredictability to paralyze you. Rather, allow love to show you who you are, and more importantly, whose you are. Spiritual pioneers align with change, unpredictability, and lack of control. And that's who we all are. Well, I would say that something is stirring now. We need to bring this in and bring it into our life, because it's not any good just to have, like I said, these steps without being able to apply it. And the other thing we need to apply it to is life in general. I would say it appears to be full of karma and cause and effect, or you're going to reap what you sow. And that is a box that we are living in, and it's pretty big. But as the spiritual pioneers, we move from this box of karma to becoming a miracle worker outside of this, in an alignment with something else. And this is what I want us to do. This is the process. First of all, when life occurs, and life will occur, and it will keep occurring, but the reason why it's occurring is so we could bring this out in us. There's an expression that I like, and it's called bend the knee, or to take a knee. And that simply means in the midst of whatever you're doing, you could take a breath. So in the midst of, right before, there was this moment before we started to dance where I took a breath and I breathed and I realized something, and that is this: I'm a child of God. I know who I am. I'm a child of God. And the other thing is, the truth is, I'm a miracle. So no matter what happens to you, what's going on with you, just realize you got to come back to the basics. You are a magnificent child of God. You're a miracle. And with that, once you tap into that miracle, you open up something, and what was normally going to be what I would call a bad consequence, you get a chance to transform it. So when Lisa and I were in this moment of confusion, the dance, and what we were going to do, it created an energy field where to take a moment, tap into something, and then we began. And one of the things that we walked away with was this. And this experience made me realize, all of the rehearsal and everything that we were doing, we weren't really looking, trying to win it or trying to be all it, like Dancing with the Stars. We weren't really competing for money. What this was really about, the reason why we were there, the fundraiser was about for women who were battered. It was supporting a battered women's shelter. So these were women who were recovering from abuse. And the reason why we were there, more than just the dancing, it was to support that effort. So I had to get a priority straight. It wasn't about me. It was about supporting the women. It wasn't about me looking good, even though Lord knows I wanted to look good. It wasn't about me being right, and Lord knows I wanted to be right. It was about supporting and caring and loving for the women who were abused. The other thing that we got out of it if I got hung up into it didn't go right, I would have missed the outside of the box thing what was there. Lisa and I got close because for twice a week we were dancing and having fun, and that to me was worth it in itself. If it got closed into a certain point of view, we missed the blessings. So I want to say, as a 21st century pioneer, spiritual pioneer, I'm inviting you to be guided by love, and love will guide you in the right steps. So the dance steps are these. Number 1, hear the voice of the divine and align with it. Number 2, living inside of divine order in the face of chaos, confusion, uncertainty. The other thing, experience the direct knowing of faith. Faith is always on, pointed towards love. Living in the expectancy of magic and miracles. What we pulled off was magic and a miracle. And the other big miracle is we came in second place. Lord knows I don't know how that happened. That was a miracle. Okay. And then the other thing is, once we are in this and feel this as a spiritual pioneer, we become ambassadors, evolving not only ourselves. The other thing about a spiritual pioneer is we're leading the way and opening up pathways for love for other people to follow through in consciousness. They don't even know that you and I are doing this. They're just going to feel it as we step our way through love. So today, we are living inside wholeness. We're living inside the wholeness of love because we are blessed. We are a sacred gift to ourselves and to the planet. That's who we are. And you don't have to worry about being perfect or anything about that. You don't have to lead marches or anything like that. I love it what Mother Teresa says in a quote, and that is, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. That is a spiritual pioneer, and that's who you and I are. Let's open up our minds and hearts now as Lisa will take us into a beautiful meditation. Thank you.
Those of us brave enough to incarnate at this auspicious time in the history of humanity are clearly here for a dynamic purpose. Amidst our myriad of unique expressions, there lies a common heart calling to bring about an entirely new way of being human on the planet. In this series on being a spiritual pioneer, we have embodied several key capacities needed in this love quest. And we begin this quest, as always, with an ever-expanding sense of I am. And through this lens, all things become possible. We see a magnificent universe. Beatrice Brutto says, "My hope is that we will get a sense of how the universe is radiant and exciting, and how we are poised right on the creative edge, right where all the new action is happening. God's action, our action, a self-creating universe that is God's ecstasy." Within this vision, we are aligned with the evolutionary impulse. We have a direct knowing and a deep faith in the unmanifest realm of spirit. We live in the expectancy of magic and miracles. And we live inside the emergent freedom of a whole new world order grounded in the divine. Ultimately, we are divincarnating, and we are ambassadors of the evolution of love in the world. So for our meditation today, we will deepen inside of each of these capacities, breathing into the way that they create a magnificent wholeness together, empowering us to express the indispensable sacred gift that we are. So I invite you to find a very comfortable way of sitting. Just become very comfortable, allowing the chair to totally support your body. Begin focusing on the breath. And as you are taking in this beautiful exchange of air and energy with the universe, just imagine it. It's coming into your physical body and all the nooks and crannies there. And as it comes into your body, just notice how you are beginning to relax and let go, and how the breath has a beautiful way of regulating, bringing harmony and peace. And now imagine you're breathing into what we call the subtle self, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your belief structures. Feeling this beautiful exchange with the universe and this part of your being, softening any concerns that you may have, harmonizing, regulating, bringing peace. And now bring this breath into our causal selves, your spirit self. This is the part of you that is beyond your roles, beyond your job titles. This beautiful part of you that was in existence before you incarnated in this lifetime, and will continue to be you as you move on beyond this planet. And as you breathe into this part of yourself, just imagine yourself and ever expanding. And feel this beautiful expansiveness that you are, outside of time, outside of space. And through this expanded self, you can behold a magnificent living universe. One that is radiant and exciting. One in which we are poised right on the creative edge, right where all the new action is happening. God's action, our action. A self-creating universe that is truly God's ecstasy. Sense into your deep alignment with the evolutionary impulse, feeling its potency and power flowing forward through you for 13.7 billion years into a spectacular future. Sense your direct knowing of the unmanifest realm within it. Sense into its texture and its flow in you and as you. Sense the living edges of the universe, right where all this new action is happening, alive with possibility, magic, and miracles. Feel this magic flowing through you as you, and say to yourself, all things are possible in this light of God that I am. All things are possible in this light of God that I am. Sense into the harmony in the universe, the freedom of its nature, its inherent wildness, its ability to break through form as needed to bring about the perfect conditions where all things truly are working together for good, no matter what. Sense the emergent freedom of this living order alive in the world today, here and now. And allow this new world order to wash over you and through you. Allow this loving order to become you. Sense into yourself as an evolutionary being of love. Sense yourself divincarnating in this very moment. Sense yourself as an ambassador of the evolution of love in the world. And say to yourself, I am the universe awakening to itself, beholding love ever dawning. You've changed beyond measure and traveled a complex path. The truth is the truth, and your heart loves to seek it. You're a healer of many, a pioneer of consciousness, a protector of wisdom. You are a light that cannot darken. You are a soul that shines through. You are eternal amid the moment. You are awakening. You are love. And this is the way it really is.
Great meditation. And it's a quote from Dolores's special reading that I want to bring us on home with as well, and that is, I am the universe awakening unto itself, beholding love ever dawning. Well, thanking each and every one of you for joining us today. And if this service has supported you in any kind of way, invited you just to share a thought or two with friends, but more importantly, just think about being a spiritual pioneer and knowing the truth of who you are, that you're a child of God. Then the other thing is you can share whatever you have financially with us so that we can keep on doing what we're doing and spread this message. It's time to get out. It's time for a new paradigm and a new way of being. And as we move forward in a very fabulous way, I just want you to know that if anything comes up and you need prayer, you can call Silent Unity 24 hours, 7 days a week for special prayer time. This is who we are. Thank you for being here. Let's close out now with this wonderful prayer for protection as it come up on the screen. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. And remember this, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. be a fabulous spiritual pioneer.
I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am